What's up, y'all? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty good, I'd say. And today I wanted to talk about the one time where apparently I was becoming a nuisance, une nuisance, um, a bad influence for a friend of mine from high school. And we always went to school by train together in the morning and sometimes in the evening, or even at night. But I'm not going to mention his name, but we always hung out. Um, and one time when I was in ninth grade, like me and this friend were from the same small town, and we had to take the train to go in the city center to go to school. And in my town, we would hang out, eat ice cream, ride our bicycles, play tennis. Even though I kind of stopped playing tennis and I focused on swimming more. But my friend was big and is probably still a very good tennis player. And yeah, so me and him were usually hanging out, shopping for like groceries, like candy, ice cream, soft drinks, hanging out on our bikes. And one time, we went to my friend's place, and before we entered the house, I asked him, "Okay, is there anyone at home? Just to be sure." And my friend was like, "No." And I was like, "You sure? Okay, you're really sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm really sure." So we stepped into the house, and then I screamed something from like American Pie mixed with like Lil B rap, mind-numbing music, lyricals, and I basically just shouted up like the stairs because when I entered, like they would have the kitchen on the right side, a corridor leading to the living room, and on the left side they would have some stairs going up and like a wardrobe on the very left side, and I would have taken off my shoes, or maybe I just when I entered, for some reason, I yelled some and something around these lines, super loud, and I was like 15, and my friend just like laughed, and then there was a big silence, and all of a sudden, his mom stepped down the stairs and stared at me and was like, "What did you just say?" What did you just say? So my friend is French, and I shouted this in English. And but his mom, she speaks very good English. She's fluent in English, and she was like, "Why?" Like she didn't say that to me. She didn't ask me, but her eyes were asking me, "What did you just say?" And when I saw his mom, I looked at my friend and I told him, "You told me that there was no one at home. You told me there was no one at home." And he was like, "Eh, you know." And then the mom just very politely greeted me, and I greeted her back in a very nice, articulate like manner in French. And I was like, "Oui, ça va bien, merci, et vous?" Et vous, vous voyez. So basically, it's a formule de politesse, meaning that when you are polite, politesse is when you vous voyez. In English, they don't have this, but it's when you address someone very politely. And I tried to compensate for what I had just said, and then I would like walk quietly in the house with my friend. Like we maybe ate something or watched some movie. But a week later, a week after this event, my mom and his mom, bumped into each other around the train station, I think. But then my mom told me, okay, so apparently your friend's mom says that you're a bad influence on him, that you have a bad influence on him, and that now probably you shouldn't meet anymore. And I was like, what? So this friend was in fact easily easily manipulated, easily influenced by other people at my school. And I, like, at least during high school, I was really against smoking weed, drinking excessively, and so on, because I had this dream of also becoming a swimmer, a top professional swimmer, which I never got. But during that time, I thought that if I had one puff of a cigarette, it would affect my career negatively down the line, and that eventually this could hinder me and like avoid me from getting like to the top of swimming. And I wasn't even so good. I wasn't even that good at swimming. But I was very thoughtful and mindful of my lifestyle. And at school, I was easily bored because also, yeah, this is another topic, but I usually just kept quiet, and I was going kind of unnoticed during that time. And my friend was getting influenced by other students that during like lunch break at school, he would just goof around, and they would make these like short videos that they would publish on YouTube back then, and my friend would make a clown of him out of himself. And I was not usual. I wasn't. I think I was almost. I don't think I was ever in one of these video clips even. But my friend was, and the other students that pushed him into like being this clown were in fact had a bad influence on him. And so after like so the mom of my friend thought that I was the main bad influence when we went to school in the morning by train and came back later with the same train oftentimes and so on. And eventually he would move to another, like he would move like closer to the city. And my parents still live in that town. But from that moment on, like yelling this like I don't know, like these vulgar insults into the house. I think that until now, the vision of his mom regarding me is still negatively affected by that. And it's so stupid because like my friend got something called avertissement du comportement et du travail. So comportement is behavior, travail is work, and avertissement is like you are getting plagued, kind of. You are getting a first amendment, not amendment, but you're getting. So they write this down in your kind of like in your like resume, in your schools, in your. We also had like a school book, and anytime we would come late, like we would we would have to show it to our parents, and they would have to sign this that we came late. And so if it would become redundant, then the question would be why do you always come late? We have to talk with your parents, and so on. And so well, I think it lasted 2 years, because later on me and him were in one theater group and we played theater. And yeah, he even got kicked out of the theater team. At the end of the year, the theater teacher told him, look, next year, if you want to take this course again, you're not allowed to, because you lack the maturity. You would have to wait for 2 years. So we were maybe in grade 10 by then, and grade 11 he wouldn't have taken theater. I didn't either, and I took arts in like 12th grade. And well, then we kind of parted, but we sometimes met again. Yeah, when we were finished with high school, we met, but there was always this like dark cloud of me being a bad influence over my friend, which I felt like was really not justified, because the other students I told you about were even like putting vodka in their water bottles and like having it in class. And so one student got caught with this, and he got kicked out of school for like 3 days because of it. And I was never a part of this like dynamic. I was always just doing my thing, listening to my music, thinking about my next workout. And well, I was maybe talking trash sometimes. But I asked him, are you sure that there's no one in the house now? I asked him like 3 times for validation. And I screamed this and like, upstairs, just when his mom came downstairs and saw me in shock. Oh, how could you say that? Now it all makes sense. Why my son is struggling at school, why he's having these behavioral problems, and why he's having poor grades and so on. It's because of you, Florian. And I was like, well, that's too bad, because I think that for 2 years, but even until now, as I told you, this kind of broke the healthy just image that I had previously. Yeah. So yeah, it just goes to show that sometimes you might say one thing, and all of a sudden people associate you with this like evil guy, just for having said or behaved in a certain, done something that just vibration in the air, just like sounds in the air. Not even at school. I would never have yelled this at school. And I thought that I was yelling this in an empty house, just for like letting go, just for the sake of letting go, because before that we were in the streets, like in his street, and the neighbors would have like heard it. And so that's why I waited to be in the house to let it all out. And yeah, that's just so stupid, because okay, later on I had like my drinking, my party phase and all that. But it definitely was not during high school. I still went to some parties, but I was definitely not the initiator, and oftentimes I wasn't even invited. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's kind of dumb and sad. So it just like, what do I even like take out of this? What is even the lesson? Is just that I should watch my mouth, probably, and that you're never like sure to be not to have someone listening to you. I don't really know, but eventually my friend got better grades, and the real bad influences, who for example got kicked out of school for having vodka in their water bottles and so on, were doing so bad that some of them, especially one of them, he changed schools. Like he stopped attending the school. He stopped, not attempt, not an attempt. An attempt is something different. But attending the school, he stopped attending the school. And my friend got better grades, and then his mom would probably rationalize, like, oh yeah, I can see that the past year, since you didn't hang out with Florian anymore, you now do much better and so on. And I was like, yeah, yeah. So that was it, guys, for today. There's still on my window. I don't know if you guys can tell, but yeah. I didn't want to open it while showering because it's so cold outside. So I will quickly open it before leaving. Um, and yeah, talk to you guys. Have a nice day, and watch your mouth.